So James, let's start this interview off right by
Yes.
toasting
Cheers.
to a bunch of things. Of a lot of streams,
Yes.
birthdays,
Yes.
right?
Yes. Blessings. Blessings.
Blessings on blessings on
Absolutely.
blessings. Hey, so James, you're a recording producer, singer-songwriter.
Yes.
You worked with Justin Bieber, Fetty Wap, T.I., Dr. Dre,
Mhm.
Robin S., and many more.
Yeah.
So how you feeling? That's going to be my first question now.
How do I feel?
Yeah.
There's a lot of feelings going on. I feel
Mhm.
blessed. I feel happy.
Yeah.
In good spirits, good health. I'm just happy about everything that's going on. It's,
Mhm.
I kind of feel like, in a way, it's a long time coming. 'Cause,
Okay.
in a sense of, I've been doing this for a long time,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm just in a good space
Yeah.
to where, like, I feel good with who I'm working with and the
Mhm.
things that I'm doing, and just getting the baggage out the way from previous experiences and other situations. So it feels good.
Okay, that sounds
Yeah.
good. And can you maybe share like one baggage with me? Like,
Bad contracts,
okay.
label crap,
yeah.
personal stuff. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Sometimes it's just bad energy that you got to get
Mhm.
rid of. So now I'm free.
That comes all together. I toast to that one more
Yes.
time.
Absolutely.
So we met a few months ago, right?
Yeah.
Like in a Super Bowl setting.
Yes.
And your friend tapped me on the shoulder. He has been to Amsterdam. You should meet James.
Yeah, I love Amsterdam.
Right? Yeah, that's going to be my question. Like, what do you like most about Amsterdam?
You know what? I love the vibe. Like, I love the
Yeah.
vibe, the energy. The people are really cool, friendly. You
Mhm.
can smoke.
Yes,
Right?
you can.
And I just love the music scene. You know what I
Okay.
mean? Like, I love the venues.
Mhm.
It's just a cool city.
Cool vibe, cool
Yeah,
atmosphere.
absolutely.
Yeah. So your joint album with Gipp came out a few months ago,
Yes,
right?
yes.
So how are the stats looking? How is it being received?
Going crazy. Like,
Yeah.
I think we just hit the 10 million mark.
Damn.
Yeah, so it's going
Mhm.
stupid.
Yeah.
Hitting all the charts. And the crazy part is we haven't even released any videos.
That is
So we kind of took like the
crazy.
90s approach, kind of, to where
Okay.
like our whole thing was the mystique factor. So
Mhm.
kind of in the 90s, like you might have heard the record, but you didn't really see the artist a lot.
Yeah.
Or you didn't really see a lot of visuals.
Yeah.
You just heard the music.
Yeah.
So with us, yeah, people are seeing us,
Yeah.
but they're hearing the music, but it's no real video yet.
Gotcha.
So we kind of
gotcha.
wanted people to just like love the music
Mhm.
and create the demand for the visuals.
Yes.
So now that we got so much traction, demand, now we're getting ready to do the visuals.
That sounds
aspect.
like a very smart strategy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just something different. I just
Yeah.
didn't want to do the whole thing of dropping the song, drop the video with it, and then
Mhm.
it's like, okay, it's done, and what
Yeah.
else you got?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. yeah.
Like I didn't want to do that.
Gotcha, gotcha. Hey, so when you met Gipp, what was your first thought? How did that go?
So we initially met in the studio.
Mhm.
One night I was in the studio with Corrupt, and shout out to Corrupt and the Dog Pound.
Hey.
And ironically, we were working on this song called "Top of the World,"
Yeah.
which is now me and Gipp's single.
Yeah.
And I had just did the hook, and Corrupt did his verse, and he kind of stepped out the booth and asked me what did I think about putting Gipp on the record.
Mm-hmm.
And me and Gipp never really met before. Like
No, no,
I think
no.
we had met in passing, maybe
Yeah.
maybe
Maybe
a
outside
yeah, a couple
somewhere.
times before,
Yeah.
like, but not officially. So he asked me what did I think about putting him on the record. And I said that might be hot
Yeah.
because I always been a fan of Goody Mob and Gipp,
Mhm.
and I loved his style.
Yeah.
And I was like, for this style of record, I want to see what that sounds like,
Mhm,
right? So
mhm.
we made it happen. He called him, and Gipp pulled up 30 minutes later and
Oh,
wrote his
damn.
verse on the spot.
Whoa.
It was that simple.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, amazing.
Yeah.
So I asked your partner in crime like the same question. What is your top 3 of your own album, of the Gipp and Worthy album, and why?
See, that's always a tough question because
Mm.
we treat them like our babies. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
especially
yeah.
me.
And you don't want to choose between your
Yeah, I
babies, but
never
you have
really want
to.
to choose, but I would probably say "Let You Go" is the top,
Okay.
the 112,
Mm-hmm.
because that was the last song we did for the
Okay.
project,
Yeah.
and that's probably the deepest song I've ever wrote.
Mm-hmm.
Just in the sense of it's talking about life, love, and experiences. And of course, we got 112 on there.
That's
It's
pretty
not
amazing.
easy to
Talking
get
about the
112.
90s
Shout
and
out to my guys.
Yeah.
So I just thought that was an amazing thing to do, and I just love the vibe and the feeling of the song.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of people don't even have acoustic guitars in their records. So I'm like, we killing the game right now.
Yeah. Yes.
So Let You Go is at the top. Of course, Top of the World is one of them.
And you're going to do a video for Top of the World 2 weeks from now, right?
Absolutely. We're doing video for Top of the World. And surprisingly, a lot of people love Out of Control, which is the first record off the EP.
Yeah.
So
you're
that's
gonna
probably
put
going to
that
be a
one in
video
your
for
top
that
3?
too.
Okay, okay.
Which is crazy. Like, the single is the Top of the World.
Yeah.
But a lot of the major radio stations, just in Atlanta alone, are playing Out of Control.
Oh.
Which is funny to me.
Yeah. And why do you think that is?
I think it's because of the tempo, like the tempo and the 808 bounce to it.
Gotcha.
The ladies, it kind of gets into their feeling with that. So I understand why.
Okay.
But a lot of people love Top of the World too. So it's both. They're both playing on radio. So I'm not complaining.
No. Hey, so you grew up in Queens, New York.
I have.
Right?
Yes.
How did that environment shape your style in a way?
That's a good question. Well, a lot of people know that I'm a huge Tribe Called Quest fan.
Yeah.
Grew up on them. Actually, they were the first album that I ever bought, like, period.
Yeah.
Midnight Marauders was the first album I ever bought. Well, actually, Midnight Marauders and Wu-Tang 36 Chambers, because a lot of people don't even realize those two albums came out the same day.
Yeah.
Which is like hip-hop history.
That's crazy.
Do your homework. So Tribe really, I always say Tribe kind of like opened the door to my style of music, not only just to listen to, but like me as a producer and a songwriter, that's kind of what set the tone for what I wanted to do musically. Because they kind of transcended not only hip hop, but just music, because they infused a lot of different things in hip hop, especially jazz.
Yeah.
And I love jazz.
Yeah.
And Q-Tip is one of my favorite producers, so
I love him too.
That kind of set the tone, and of course, I'm a big Houdini fan. Shout out to Ecstasy, rest in peace. He was my mentor. And there were another group that set the tone, for my style. So New York has just always been that staple. To be like creativity at its finest to me, like,
and maybe also like brave in a way. They're not afraid to mix like different types of styles.
A lot of it was, to me, it was just no ceiling, or no boundaries. Like it was just like everybody's just making dope stuff. That's always been me. I always wanted to be a leader. I always wanted to make dope stuff, and always try to transcend and inspire people in anything that I do. So of course, musically, I never wanted to like follow anybody. Like when I was young and when I first got into the game, I never listened to the radio.
What?
I never listened to the radio. Like I never did. Like the funny part is, like, every weekend I would go to a record store and buy an album I never heard, just so I can read the credits, just to see who did what.
Interesting.
So when I would hear stuff, like I would kind of be like behind the wheel in a sense, because by the time I heard it, it was kind of like an old record.
Okay.
But like everybody would be like, "Oh, did you hear such and such?" I'm like, "No, I don't know what it is," because I was just always in my own head, just trying to figure out like, what am I gonna do? How am I gonna set myself apart? Because if I would have kept listening to other people, you kind of get lost in that shuffle of like trying to emulate and trying
this is hot right now.
I never wanted to be that.
Yeah, and then you moved to Atlanta, and Atlanta definitely has like a, unique sound. Did you maybe sometimes feel pressure to still adjust to like the dirty South sound though?
So this is the funny part about that. So I've always been a fan of the South. And the South movement and the South music and all that. So ironically, me coming from New York, right? And moving to the South, I had a chance to work with like Houston artists, right? From Swisher House Records and all that. So I was already in the fold of the South. So working with Mike Jones and Slim Thug and all these guys, like they introduced me to the South. So when I got a chance to work with other South artists, it really wasn't a big surprise to me. It was just kind of like, I'm already in it, so it's just kind of like building on top of that. So it's like, it wasn't like I was one of those guys, I'm coming from New York and I had know nothing about the South. And I don't know what to do and nothing. Like I already had a one up. So when I had a chance to work with other artists, it was just like, let's just take it to the next level.
Yeah, yeah.
And especially for me, as a new producer and a new writer, like it was great for me.
Yeah,
because
definitely.
now I'm getting to move in different circles and do different genres that I haven't done, which is great.
Yeah. But sonically, though, just to make sure you never felt that pressure in a way, like this is okay. You always stick to your own style.
Yeah, I always have
versatile.
but also too, the thing that kind of helped me was collaborating with other producers. As well that were in other genres.
Yeah.
So whether it was from the South, from New York, from Miami, all the way to Europe, doing house music and dance music. Like I just love music, so it wasn't just hip hop.
Gotcha.
I love dance music. I love house music. So whatever I felt good about and it moved me, that's what I wanted to make.
Gotcha. Now you always wanted to work in the entertainment industry, right? Maybe even like as a manager or DJ or dancer or whatever. Something.
Yeah.
When did you know? Okay, I should stick to singing and producing. That's my thing.
You know what? I didn't really fully say I wanted to be a producer. Well, even before that, I started writing before I started producing. So even when I decided I wanted to write, I was probably 15. But I didn't get there until I met Michael Jackson, which I was 11 when that happened.
Okay, maybe you can start there. You were 11, you met Michael Jackson.
Let me take the drink.
Okay, yeah.
Okay. Michael Jackson.
Yeah.
So this was actually in New York. This was at Webster Hall in New York. Now, I was a huge Michael Jackson fan, right? Off the rip. And at the time, he was supposed to be in Manhattan I think it was some type of award he was not presenting, he was getting an award.
Yeah.
And I didn't know nothing about it until my dad kind of tricked me. He was like, hey, we're going to go into the city and hang out. And lo and behold, it's the Michael Jackson event. I'm seeing all these impersonators all over the place and tour buses. So I'm like, you slick guy. So, we go inside and it's a sea of people. Yeah. So it's like standing room only. So we're going into the very front where the stage is. And, there's girls behind me just crying and flipping out and fainting. You're like, oh my God.
Yeah, MJ.
So, he comes out at the end of pretty much the tail end of the show and he accepts the award and stuff. And I'm seeing him right there. I'm right here. He's right here.
Damn.
So, news crew is right next to me. And my face is like, oh my God. Right?
Yeah.
So, and I was on the news too. It was crazy. The next day, they're doing a recap, and I see myself on the news. I'm like, that's crazy. So we got a chance to go backstage to the green room, and I'm thinking that if we're going that far to go meet him, I'm thinking security guards, 5 security guards deep, if somebody's gonna open the door. You can't even get that close, kid.
Yeah.
He literally opens the door himself.
Wow.
He opens the door himself. He was like, who are you guys? And we were like, oh, we're just fans, My dad was like, oh, my son wants to meet you. He's a big fan. And he was like, oh, hey. He gave me a hug. Wow. We were talking to him for 5 minutes. It was crazy.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
And he was only talking to you and your father, or just
me? It was crazy because I thought it was just gonna be other people opening the door, but it was literally him. And I'm like, whoa, that's crazy.
Yeah, that kind of changed.
Yeah, it tripped me out.
Everything.
It tripped me out. So that moment right there was the eye opener. I was like, okay, if I can meet an idol of mine, I could do a lot.
Yes.
So that kind of made me feel like, okay, I want to do something in entertainment. But it wasn't until I decided that I want to do music that, professionally, that I was like, okay, I want to make this a career.
Yeah. And what was the first song that you ever wrote? Even it's maybe in high school, I'm not proud of it, but still, it's the whole song.
I think sometimes, especially R&B guys, in the beginning, I think they, deep down, they wanted to be a rapper. Especially the ones from New York. So, I had my little phase where I was trying to rap and do my little rap thing. And I'm trying to write my verses and stuff. And it was decent, but I was like, no.
Can you share one bar, though?
I don't remember them bars. That's what, it was so whack.
Okay.
It was so whack. But I knew I was like, that's not for me.
Gotcha.
For me. So, Yeah, it had to be some crazy little rap verse that I started with, and then I'm like, you know what? I am not a rapper.
This ain't it.
I'm strictly musician land.
Yes, yes, yes.
So I just started writing R&B records after that, and you know, once I started writing, and then that's when I was like, okay, I need production now.
Okay.
Because I need to make full songs.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And you know, start shopping them around and seeing who bites, and you know, that's how the process began.
Okay, amazing. And you also started in a few reality shows like Love and Hip Hop, right? And From the Bottom.
Yes, I did.
And usually you hear people complaining about the editing, right? Like, oh my God, the edit fucked me up.
True.
Do you also have a moment like that, looking back?
Well, fortunate for me, I didn't have those problems.
Okay.
Like when I came onto the shows, it was music based. So like it would be me working with an artist in the studio. We're just working on stuff. I remember when I did the BET From the Bottom Up show, I was working with Sarah Stokes from Making the Band.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And we, basically it was a single she already had out that I produced called Sneak Peek. And we just kind of did like a reenactment of us creating the song on the episode, which was cool because it gave people a different light to her because, you know, at the time she had a lot of drama going on with her and her husband and family stuff. So I think they just kind of wanted to change the narrative a little bit. So I was happy we got to do that because, you know, it just kind of showed how talented she was. So that was pretty dope.
Okay, yeah, I can see that. Hey, and let's go to the studio.
Yes.
Who surprised you the most musically and personally? But let's start with musically.
Musically. Man, I've worked with so many people.
Yeah, you
and there's so many different like personalities and people work differently, you know? I've always loved working with Robin S.
Okay.
Like, she's always great to work with. Very easy. You know, every time we've gotten in the studio together, we write everything together, produce everything together. So it's always an easy process.
Yeah.
Let me see. Future is always dope. When I was in the studio with him.
Yeah.
Simple process too.
Okay.
Let me see.
And they kind of surprised you because they wrote something real quick, or was it more so that they were like brave enough to switch up their styles, maybe, or
both of those?
Okay,
but then also just the energy.
Okay.
Like I think it's just no ego involved. Like it's just like really easy, you know, to work. And it's just like we're just creating. Like it's no. I guess there's just no entitlement with it or anything. Like we're just like trying to make something dope, and whatever we do with it, we do with it. You know what I mean? We never really went in with intentions on anything when we went in. Yeah.
And on a personal level, though, personality-wise, I must maybe say, who surprised you the most? Can also be like a crazy thing, or like who kind of caught up in the studio.
Interesting. You know what? One time I had a session with Katy Perry. That was interesting.
Okay.
A lot of drinking, a lot of smoke, a lot of opinions.
Okay.
Even though she was cool, like she didn't do any of the smoking or nothing like that. But I think it's just I'm big on like I don't like entourages and stuff and extra people in the studio when I'm working. So, you know, when I see that with other artists, like, it kind of like throws me off a little bit.
Okay.
You know, I just don't like extra people like that.
Yeah.
So, and I think she was kind of like that too, because I think at the time when we had sessions, it was people that we didn't even know that was coming into the sessions. We were like, who are these people? Like, what do you do? Why are you here?
But also Katy didn't know.
Yeah, she
Katy
didn't
was
know
also
him.
like,
so
okay,
it was kind of like, it was weird. It was just like, get these people out of here.
Yeah.
Like, it's crazy.
Yeah.
So it's just stuff like that. Like, and, you know, sometimes people love to like get clout. So they like try to be there to like get behind the scenes stuff and you don't know nothing about it. And then like you find out, then they're like the assistant to the other assistant. It's just like crazy. Yeah, like it's just crazy stuff.
And how do you then decide who you want to work with? Does energy play a big role?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You know, nowadays I'm big on relationships with artists. Like, I don't really do the middleman thing.
Okay.
Like, I like to be in contact with the artists and make sure we have some type of relationship and rapport before I actually, you know, work with them and give them, you know, my time, my energy, you know, my work.
Yeah.
And vice versa, you know what I mean? So I think it just needs to be a mutual thing.
Yeah. And you're also a writer. Yeah, of course you're a writer, but you also write books.
Yeah.
Right? So you wrote the book The Road to a Hit Record, and you give like a lot of gems in that book, right? The do's and don'ts in the music industry. Can you maybe like share a few of the biggest gems when it comes to do's and don'ts?
Ah, man. So when I did that, it was such a different time. Like, like it wasn't the streaming era that it is now. It was totally different. I really need to update that.
Part two.
Part two.
Yeah.
But at that time, I was just kind of going off of what my trajectory was and what my blueprint was, I guess, in the sense of how I networked and how I built relationships and how I got into different rooms and how I got different placements and stuff like that. Because everybody's story is different.
Yeah.
And you know, I always tell people, like, don't try to compare you to me.
Okay.
Or, like, don't try to mirror your trajectory to what I did, because we're two different people. You know what I mean? Like, so I always try to tell people, you know, just try to not emulate, but just draw inspiration maybe from someone like me or somebody else, but don't emulate, because once you do that, you're taking away the authenticity of what you're trying to build. Right? So that was the premise of the book, is just to, you know, find your own niche, find your own way, like, you know, carve your own lane, because if you don't, I mean, you're in the shuffle of hundreds of thousands of people that doing the same thing that you're doing. You know? So I can never be like, I want to be like Q-Tip, I want to be like Dre, I want to be like whoever. Like, I never wanted to do that. You know, I admire them, I'm huge fans of their work, but I never wanted to be them.
Gotcha. So if you would write like part 2 right now, would sliding in people's DMs be one of your gems? Like how
sliding in the DMs?
Yes, of producers or people you want to work with.
Well, if you're sliding in the DMs, present yourself in the best light if you are. So don't just slide in the DM with a link and say, hey, listen to my music. I mean, you're never going to get anywhere with that.
No.
You know what I mean? Like, most likely they're not even going to respond to you or even look at your DM. You know, so just come correct, you know, introduce yourself, introduce what you do. Here's what I have. Let me know what you think. You know, possibly if we could work together, you know, just come correct. You never know.
And the music industry is a tough industry.
It is.
Yeah, it really is, you know. How do you keep your sanity?
Keep my sanity.
Yeah.
A lot of meditation. I try to keep positive energy around me as much as possible.
Yeah.
You know, and sometimes that's just the company that you keep. And the things that you get involved with. You know, it's really as simple as, like I always tell people, life is about choices and trade-offs.
Yeah.
So it's about the choices that you make in life, and it's also the things that you're willing to sacrifice or give up to make your dreams come true.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But be smart about what those things are.
Yeah.
Right? So I kind of look at it in that sense, like, you know, I'm really cautious about who I'm around, who I deal with, who I let get close to me.
Yes.
And all those things. 'Cause I mean, it matters.
It matters. Yeah, and meditation, I love that. I started meditating last year, and it really saved my life in a way. Like, it's the best.
It really is. It really is. Especially when you're going through hard times and, you know, things ain't going your way. Like, sometimes you just got to kind of take a step back and reset. And, you know, hey, I've gone maybe a week tops without talking to nobody. I just need this time for me.
Yes.
You know, just so I can get my mind right. And, you know, we'll talk. You know, just
eventually.
Give me some space a little bit. You know? Nothing wrong with that.
I definitely get that. Hey, James, so let's talk about strippers.
Okay.
How
that's a curveball right there.
Right, from meditation to the club. We can do both duality. But how important are strip clubs for your music?
Ooh, that's a good one. Well, I mean, especially in Atlanta culture, strip clubs is like the cornerstone of a lot of artists. I mean, you know, a lot of records have been broken in the strip clubs, right? So I think it's important. Now, I think it matters probably the style of music that you have. I mean, you know, more so probably trap or, you know, more so, you know, more of a gritty South style would work in a strip club, right? But sometimes they play R&B too. You know, I guess it depends on the vibe. But I think it's important. Like, I think strippers are actually dope. Like, I think sometimes they get a bad rap. Like, I think they look at them one-sided sometimes, but a lot of them are really talented, smart. You know, they have degrees. You know, and I think a lot of times they get a bad rap because they think that they're gonna be there forever. You know, it's just like, no, like, sometimes they're only there for like a couple months, maybe a year, and they're going to something else.
And they have an exit plan and start their businesses or something else. Exactly. You know, do some financial literacy, maybe for other dancers and stuff like that. You know?
And I got a lot of stripper friends. They dope as hell. You know?
And I really loved it because I spoke to a few for my research, and one of them called herself Street A&R, and I thought that's exactly what they're doing, right? They kind of like,
you know, they are kind of a A&R in a sense, because they kind of know what works in the club. They know what tempo of the records work in the club, and they are the best ones to dance to your record, right? They know how to dance. So I love it. I love it. I've used the strip clubs to you know, work records and see what works the best. I mean, Top of the World was in a strip club.
Okay, nice.
You know, so I'm not mad at it.
No. Hey, so what's next for you?
What's next?
It's
a lot. So, of course, Gipp and Worthy, you know, we're working that EP right now. Top of the World is the single. Music videos dropping, TV shows, movies. I'm actually working on my own documentary. James Worthy doc. Most likely it'll be a 2-part doc. Ironically, it's been very highly requested, not only from my fans, but just industry people. Because I think people are just interested in the story a lot, and you know, people just learning more about me and learning about my story, and I think people just want to hear from the very beginning to where I'm at now, and the story is still being written too. So,
and the story's going to start in Queens.
Yes.
Okay, that's amazing.
It's going to start in Queens. You know,
so a lot,
from little baby James to where I'm at now. So I think it's going to be dope. It's a lot of like backstory and a lot of footage that you guys are going to be like, whoa.
And when is it coming out?
So we're in production right now. So I'm hoping that this will happen. I definitely want to release it probably by the fall, or maybe end of the fall. So we'll see. We'll see.
So a lot of good things coming, and don't forget the drink.
Yes.
Right.
So the Top of the World drink, named after our single Top of the World, it's coming out through Gipp Goodies. Shout out to my boy Big Gipp in the Zaga line. So we're going to be dropping that this summer, along with the music video. So I'm excited about that. And this is the kicker. So Gipp has a new TV show called On 10. That's going to be coming out on BET this summer. So Top of the World will be one of the featured records in the show. So we're going to be featuring the Top of the World drink, the Top of the World music video, and the TV show.
Okay.
Who's doing that, y'all?
I know that's right. Thank you so much for your time, James, and I will probably see you in Amsterdam next month.
Yes, you
also
will.
Something that you are going to do.
I can't give all the details just yet, but just know it's going to be a powerhouse show.
Gotcha.
Stay tuned.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.